Many thanks for joining us on TVC News at 10. This edition of the news features Sunday specials, and we are reaching you live from our Lagos studios. We begin with the latest regarding the attack in Kaduna State, where 17 persons have been confirmed dead after gunmen invaded Ungwa Wakili community in Zango Kataf local government area of Kaduna State. Women and little children are said to be among the dead. And now a 24-hour curfew has been imposed on Ungwan Juju, Mabuhu, Ungwan Wakili and Zangon Urban to allow security operatives restore peace in the area. TVC News also gathers that security operatives have been deployed to the areas in a bid to restore peace. Spokesperson of the police command in Kaduna, Mohammed Jalige, in a statement on Sunday says the timely intervention of a security team prevented the gunmen from causing more harm. Some security experts say this latest attack is not unconnected with farmer-herder conflicts which have existed in the region for more than a decade. Earlier, I spoke with our Kaduna correspondent, Luperasum, on the matter.
It's a Black Sunday for residents of that community. Of course, they were attacked yesterday night by gunmen who invaded their place, shooting sporadically. And 15 people were killed, were reportedly shot, and then corpses were also recovered from the bushes. Some of them were taken to the hospital where a couple of them later died. Of course, we reached out to the police. They said they're on top of the situation and that their men are deployed to the place to ensure that they forestall any further attacks. Well, the crisis in Zango Kataf is very unique. It is basically a misunderstanding between farmers and herders. This crisis has lasted more than 10 years in that place, so it's more than a decade-long crisis. Several efforts have been put in by the Kaduna State government, by the Peace Commission. They have gone there, interacted with stakeholders, but these efforts are yet to yield results. So the curfew is still in place. It's going to be for 24 hours till we get to hear any further information from either the security authorities or the Kaduna State government.
Let's talk some more about this latest attack in Kaduna State. We bring in now a security expert from Abuja, Kabir Adamu, who joins us online. Thank you very much for joining us at this time. What do you make of this latest attack? Some have called it attack by bandits. Some have said it's a resurgence of farmer-herder conflicts.
Thank you, Kemi, and good evening. From what we're hearing, I run an outfit called Beacon Consulting, and we keep tabs of development like that. So what I'm going to say is a combination of news report from sources within security cycles, and then report from people on ground. It appears before the incident, there were an altercation between communities and with the involvement of security agencies. So clearly, whatever precipitated the incident that led to the death of 17 persons, where there were indicators on ground to have warned anyone who has followed development in Kaduna that the potential and the possibility of such an attack was extremely high, especially given the current high stake political dynamics that is going on in the state. You're probably aware that the ruling in the aftermath of the presidential and national assembly elections, which was not won by the ruling party, was won by one of the opposition parties, that the stakes are extremely high in the state. And so any action that would lead to this kind of violence would likely create a bigger tension than it would ordinarily. So suffice to say that there were indicators on the ground that suggested that sadly, such an attack could occur.
All right, but let's also, get a bit more, clarity on this kind of attack, especially in Zango Kataf. That's been a hotbed of conflicts. Despite peace moves, reconciliation committees here and there, what exactly is the issue about the conflicts in Zango Kataf?
Again, my response will be based on different sources of information. Like you rightly indicated, there has been a history of incidents in Zangon Kataf. Most of it is inter-community based, so two different communities are grieved for different reasons. Sadly, two communities with different identities, both religious and ethnic. Now, in this instance, the ethnic as well as the religious game is playing out in the sense that it is one community attacking the other. So that's number one. Number two is the existence of what I would call armed militias by both sides, actually. Number three is the presence of weapons, in the hands of non-state actors, especially these militias that I've mentioned. Number four is the seeming lack of effectiveness and efficiency by the security agencies. First off, to pick up these indicators that I've mentioned. I'm a private player, but I was able to pick up those indicators. But I can tell you, even your correspondent and several persons that if you speak with, the indicators were very clear. So clearly there is that absence and inability of the security, especially law enforcement component of the security agencies, to use intelligence gathering tools. And I must mention that Kaduna has one of the best early warning systems that any state in Nigeria has. What we are not sure is why that early warning systems have not been infused into the federal security arrangement that would allow an early warning response to prevent this type of violence from occurring. So that's number four. Number five is sadly the inability of even the media and other watchers to disaggregate this issue and report it in a manner that would be helpful. So we're seeing a lot of reports that is playing on the ethnic and the religious component of the crime, right? And not necessarily this core element that I've mentioned.
Mr. Adamu, we're still in an active political season. The next phase of elections are this week, as announced by INEC. And so, that too will definitely remain a concern. But what needs to give right now to have long-lasting peace there?
Like I mentioned earlier on, all those 4 or 5 elements that I've indicated, there's a need to strengthen them. But in this instance, the most urgent one is to dissipate the ethnic and the religious tension that these attacks have created. And I think the media, in reporting this, should also remember that just close to Zangon Kataf, there is Birnin, and there have been a constant incidents of attacks in Birnin. So when reporting that, it's very important not to single out Zangon Kataf and report it as a single incident. The entire environment that represents Kaduna, sadly, is challenged. And so when you report it like that, it kind of helps reduce the tension. But beyond that, law enforcement must rise to the occasion. Law enforcement must arrest the perpetrators and must show in a very credible manner that they're being prosecuted. For the entire period that we've seen this kind of violence in Kaduna, there is very limited evidence of prosecution of those behind the violence. If you want to bring this to an end, prosecution must be enhanced.
Security expert Kabir Adamu, thank you very much for your insights and speaking with us on TVC News.
Thank you for having me.
Still talking.